Hello everyone, this is Jake from CINECALIBER. Today's video is going to be my film review on Wonka. This film came out in December of 2023 during Christmas week. This will be the third film adaptation of the Willy Wonka franchise. Now, I remember the one that came out in 1971. My parents had actually sat down to watch it with me. That one was with Gene Wilder. That one was pretty good. It was comical, but it was also sincere. Then they made a reboot called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That one was with Johnny Depp. That one was pretty good. Had more of a darker take on the character due to Tim Burton being the director and his style of filmmaking. It kind of went more into the history of Willy Wonka, and basically just was more of a darker take on the character. So when this film got announced initially, there was a lot of negative feedback on it, mostly because people were thinking that Warner Brothers was going to use this as an obvious cash grab by just using a recycled IP. We've seen Willy Wonka twice now. What were they really going to do to make it kind of feel fresh and innovative? So they basically had director Paul King come in. He had made the Paddington films, if anyone has seen those. I have not been able to see those, but I hear that they are very good. So there was already kind of a high standard because of him, but at the same time, people were like, this is just going to be another cash grab. It's not going to be anything crazy. So without further ado, this film follows a young Wonka in his dreams of opening up a chocolate shop, as he comes to discover the chocolate industry in Europe is run by a bunch of greedy chocolatiers, and he basically has to find a way to open up his dream shop. So, we're going to go into what was a hit, the good of the film. So, right off the start, Timothée Chalamet, he has been a phenomenal upcoming actor, and he is the one that plays a young Willy Wonka. His performance I liked a lot. It was pretty witty and inspiring. He just had a lot of energy in the role. He really felt like a younger version of the Gene Wilder version, which I believe this film is actually kind of an adaptation of that, or like, I guess you would say like a prequel to it. And it's not really like how the Johnny Depp one was, which was a little bit darker. So his version was more with that original one that came out in the 70s. This film really, it plays it rather safe, so it didn't really blow me away, but it also didn't fall under my expectations either. It was kind of had a nice medium at it. It was good. So the film itself really is focused solely on a younger child audience, tailored more for like a family experience, I would say, with the way its style of film was and the themes behind it. There was a musical aspect to it. It was engaging. It was fun. It doesn't really get boring. It had a really good, kind of like a Mary Poppins feel to it. The production sets were awesome. I thought they were able to capture like the Europe culture very well, and the buildings, and then the costume designs. Wonka was great. They had some really good shots of the chocolates he used and the craziness that happened behind those. Those are all handled very great. And then also even just the supporting cast. The supporting cast in this film was excellent. A lot of good English actors. We had Matt Lucas as Gerald Prodnose. He was like one of the chocolatiers, the antagonist. Matt Lucas is in Alice in Wonderland, Bridesmaids, and Paddington. Olivia Colman as Mrs. Scubbit. She was kind of like a minor antagonist. Well, she was in the Peep Show sitcom and Accused Crime series. Rowan Atkinson, as everyone knows, Mr. Bean. He was Father Julius, another conspirator with the Chocolatiers. And then we also had another standout, Hugh Grant, who was like the first Oompa Loompa that Wonka comes across as Lofty. Hugh Grant was in Four Weddings and a Funeral, an older film. Cloud Atlas, and of course Paddington too. A lot of Paddington actors because of their affiliation with the director. So it was, like I said, the supporting cast did a great job kind of making the story kind of flow very well. And that's what I thought was a hit. So what was a miss in this film? I have to say again, the film plays it safe. So it's also, because it does that, it's good, but it's also a hindrance. So a hindrance meaning it doesn't really tap into the concept of a young Wonka. Really, it's like it explores him trying to open up a shop, but you really don't get to know who he really is, what he's all about. You see some minor backstory about his motivations for being who he is, but really it doesn't break his character down enough. And again, that might actually be rectified if Warner Brothers maybe decides to make this prequel into more of a franchise than just a standalone. So if it does, then I'll give it some credit, but as of now, it's like this film didn't do a whole lot for me in terms of making Wonka really a standout character. He kind of was just there doing his thing, but it would be nice to kind of know more about him and why he is the way he is. And I loved the Tim Burton style. I loved the darker elements of the previous version, and that was just not here. But again, I mean, that wasn't bad either, because again, this was tailored more towards family, had a more musical aspect, more just friendly tone. But I did like that darker aspect of it, and I just wish maybe they could have done it with this one. But hey, there was times too. I like Timothy Chalamet. He was great, but his singing, it was a little bit underwhelming at times. It just felt like he didn't really hit the notes as well as he could have. Great, like I said, I like him mostly in the other films he does. I've never really seen him in a musical light, so this was okay, but I thought it was a little bit underwhelming to see him in that role and not really be able to like sing as well as he could have. But again, that was just my thought on it. There was also, despite the supporting cast, there were some actors I felt were wasted by just the bad screenplay at times. I don't say bad, but it didn't do them very much justice. The characters were kind of just there. You had Keegan-Michael Kay, great actor. He was just a generic chief of police, kind of used his crude humor. And then there's like a main character, Calla Lane, this noodle, who was like Wonka's co-conspirator. I felt like she just was okay, just was kind of there, helped him along the way, but that wasn't really it. And then even Rowan Atkinson, Hugh Grant, as great as they were, I feel like there was just not a whole lot for them to do, and it's kind of a shame because those are two great actors. They could have done so much more with those characters, and those actors would have done a lot better with if they had a better screenplay. So, with all that said, my conclusion would be: is this bullseye or a misfire? So this one is like, I would say, right in the middle of being a bullseye and also a misfire. So it's a charming and entertaining family film, and its comedic nature and musical elements make it a great family film. And if this franchise continues, I'm hoping that they get to explore more of Wonka's character and make it even better. I always felt like the Willy Wonka franchise was good, but it never really just went above expectations. It kind of is just there. It's nice to watch with the family, but nothing groundbreaking. So I'm gonna have to give this a final rating of a 3 out of a 5. So yeah, it just kind of made it. Hopefully, if they continue with this version, they just kind of improve on it and go from there. But yeah, those were my thoughts on Wonka. If you guys have seen it, let me know in the comments what your thoughts were. And again, if you have any other films or anything you would like me to go over, let me know and I'll be happy to do so. As always, like, comment, subscribe on this channel, and that'll be it for this video. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your night or day.